I think that's why you have to have obviously strategies in place for how you manage yourself and how you recognize how you react to things so that you are prepared when those events happen. Of course, a little bit of stress is not a bad thing. If you're constantly in this position, you need to be able to take a look at your life and say, what are the things that I can change, which isn't about how I react to things, but what are the actual things in my life that I can do, that I can craft, which will reduce that stress or change it or make it more manageable,
Yeah.
rather than just being buffeted by the winds all the time.
Yeah, I think there's a bit about controlling the controllable and where you have autonomy and doing what you can in that context. And one thing that's really helped me and was something that I worked on more last year was getting in tune with my emotional state and becoming more aware of what I was feeling and allowing myself to process those feelings rather than just going, I'm experiencing this negative emotion. I shouldn't be experiencing that. Therefore, either like self-criticism or I will ignore it or just force myself to change my emotional state, which, as I've learned, is not actually possible. Um, so you've got a lot on your plate. I think we've established that. How do you manage all of that? Find time for what matters? How are you managing finding time for writing when you're also caring for your wife, your child, your own health? What's your approach to that?
It's something that I think about a lot and something that I have written about. And actually, being on this career break is the perfect time to answer that because I've had the time to reflect on it. And also, my time right now is very different to most of the rest of my life in terms of 9 to 5 or 8 to 7 job as it's been. So I can draw that contrast. At the moment, in theory, I am master of my own time between 9 and 5. I could drop my daughter off in the morning, pick her up from after school club in the evening. So you would think that I am doing absolutely everything, like working out 4 times a week, walking the dog, doing all my hobbies, writing a novel, and absolutely smashing it. But the truth is, I don't have time to do all the things that I want to do. I don't even have time to do all the things that I consider a bare minimum. You might argue I've swapped one type of work for another type of work in that I am writing a novel. And by the way, this news just in, writing a novel takes quite a lot of time. That's a lot of writing. This was genuinely a surprise to me. I kind of imagined going into this career break, I would have time to read novels, pursue my hobbies, also write the novel, and so on. And then when I first began on this endeavor, and I was spending all my time writing and then walking the dog, and then I also want to bake a sourdough loaf, and I also want to do this and do that, and I wasn't achieving them. I was giving myself a hard time because I realized I was holding myself to an impossible standard because I am in many ways living the dream in this period where I'm master of my own destiny 9 to 5. Why wouldn't I do everything as perfectly as I possibly could and do everything, achieve everything that I want to do? Well, because actually 9 to 5 is only 8 hours, and what I want to do takes 24 hours, and there's a finite amount of time in our life before we die. That's why.